She left him to explore her ex, thinking he'd wait. But while she chased her past, he sold the house, moved across the country, and built a new life. When she begged to come back, he had one answer: "I don't do backup plans. I once believed I was engaged to the love of my life, Tessa. At 27, I thought I had things figured out." After years of casual dating and the occasional serious relationship, she was the person who seemed different. She was witty, ambitious, and had this magnetic confidence that made everyone stop and listen. We met at a birthday party thrown by a mutual friend. She was laughing over a bad karaoke rendition when we locked eyes. That night, conversation flowed like we had known each other for years. Within weeks, we were inseparable. After 1 year, we moved in together. Life wasn't extravagant, but it felt right. She was a freelance graphic designer, making waves with small business clients, while I worked as a project manager at a tech company. Our schedules aligned beautifully, and weekends were spent in cozy coffee shops, talking about everything from vacations to family, to eventually marriage. We spoke often about our future. A house, a family, maybe a dog once things settled down. 2 years into our relationship, we started seriously discussing marriage. She loved autumn, so we dreamed of a lakeside wedding surrounded by colorful foliage. It all felt natural, comfortable, so when I proposed last year, just a quiet dinner at home, nothing over the top, she cried and said yes. She threw her arms around me and kept repeating, "Yes, yes," 1,000 times. Yes. At first, wedding planning was like an adventure. Tessa was bursting with ideas. She sent me Pinterest boards filled with decor inspiration. She weighed flower choices, color palettes, and we even narrowed down a short list of lakeside venues. Every night she'd show me something new. "Do you like tulips or roses?" she'd ask with a gleam in her eye. But then things changed. Little signs at first. She stopped talking about the wedding as much. The Pinterest board stopped updating. When I asked about her dress search or bridesmaid decisions, she brushed it off. "There's still time," she'd say. I chalked it up to stress. Tessa had landed a few big design projects and was working long hours. Wedding planning can overwhelm anyone, I thought. I didn't push. After all, we were solid, weren't we? The real blow came during a casual game at a friend's house. You might have seen it, the TikTok trend where everyone answers personal questions without showing emotion. It was supposed to be lighthearted, but then someone asked, if you could relive one past relationship, which would it be? Tessa, without missing a beat, answered, "Dylan." The room fell silent. Dylan, her college boyfriend. The same Dylan who cheated on her repeatedly and left her heartbroken for years. She chuckled nervously. "Not because I want to go back, it's just, you know, he was a big part of my past." I forced a smile, but inside I was stunned. That night, when we got home, I asked her about it. "What was that all about? Why would you even say Dylan?" She dismissed it like it was nothing. "It was a silly game. Liam, don't take it so seriously." But I couldn't let it go. From then on, the distance between us grew. Tessa was constantly on her phone, smiling at messages she wouldn't explain. She canceled date nights last minute. Work, she'd claim. Or I promised my mom I'd help her out. Each excuse seemed harmless. But together, they built a wall between us. Then came the Friday night I'll never forget. I came home early, hoping to surprise her with dinner. Maybe it would be the night we reconnected. When I walked in, the house was quiet. Tessa was sitting on the couch, laptop open, but she wasn't working. She stared blankly at the screen, lost in thought. "You're home early," she said flatly. "I thought we could have dinner together," I replied, trying to sound casual. She didn't smile. "That's when I knew. There's something I need to tell you," she said, closing her laptop. My stomach tightened. I sat across from her. "I've been thinking a lot about us," she began. "And about Dylan." Her words sliced through the air. "I think I need some time to figure things out." She hesitated. "I'd like to take a break. I need to see if there's still anything between Dylan and me." I stared at her, disbelief flooding through me. "You want a break to date your ex?" "It's not like that," she insisted. "I just need clarity. If it doesn't work out, I promise I'll come back." As if I would wait around, hoping to be chosen, something inside me shifted. I didn't scream or cry, I just stared at her. "So, you're saying you need to test drive your ex before committing to me?" She looked uncomfortable. "Liam, it's about making sure we're both making the right decision." I nodded slowly. "Okay." Her eyes widened. She expected an argument, begging, anything but calm acceptance. "I'll stay at my mom's for a while," she said, as though that made it all reasonable. "Do what you need to do," I reply. She packed a bag and left that night. But instead of sitting around, waiting for her to figure things out, I grabbed my phone and called my best friend, Noah. He'd always been the no-nonsense type. Within an hour, Noah was at my door with pizza and a six-pack. "So," he said, after I explained everything, "what's the plan?" "The plan?" I asked. "Yeah. Are we going to sit here crying, or are we making moves?" That's when the fog lifted. I wasn't going to be anyone's second choice. First, the house. The mortgage was in my name alone. Tessa loved to say it was our house, but legally, it was mine. I called a realtor first thing the next morning. The market was hot. Within days, we had buyers lining up. Second, I boxed up every item of hers left in the house, no dramatic confrontation. I hired a moving company to deliver it all to her mother's house with a simple note, "Here's your stuff. Good luck with Dylan." Third, I applied for a transfer to my company's West Coast office, an opportunity I'd once hesitated to pursue because I thought Tessa wouldn't want to move. Now, there was nothing holding me back. As the days passed, Tessa's texts trickled in. At first, "Hope you're doing okay." Then, "I think we should talk soon." Finally, when she heard the house was listed, "Why are you acting like this is over?" I replied with 4 words. Because it is over. She had made her choice. Now, I was making mine. After Tessa walked out that night, I didn't collapse like I might have once feared. Instead, a strange calm settled over me. I wasn't going to wallow or wait. I had made my decision. This wasn't about revenge. It was about reclaiming control of my life. Noah stayed with me for a few hours that evening, and we drafted what he jokingly called Operation Move On. Step 1 had already begun. The house was on the market. Step 2 was cleaning house emotionally and physically. I removed every trace of her, the live, laugh, love signs she insisted on, the throw pillows, the frame photos of us at the lake, gone. By Monday, the realtor had 3 serious offers on the house. I accepted the highest one. Closing would be in just over a month. Step 3 was the most critical. I needed to emotionally detach. No stalking her social media. No asking mutual friends what she was up to. If she wanted to explore Dylan, she could without me being her audience. But of course, things didn't stay quiet for long. A few days after she left, Tessa started ramping up her texts. They started innocently. "Hope you're doing okay. We should talk soon." Then came the more frantic ones, and she realized I was listing the house. "Why are you acting like this is over?" I reply, "Because it is over." That must have shaken her. Friends told me she was spinning a different story to others. According to Tessa, we were just taking time apart to grow. I was stunned. She wanted to control the narrative, to make it look like a mature, mutual decision. But reality had other plans. By the second week, I noticed some of our mutual friends shifting. They started texting me. "Tessa says you're blowing this out of proportion. Is that true?" I stayed calm. I responded with the truth. Tessa chose to explore things with her ex while engaged. I chose not to be her backup plan. That single sentence spread like wildfire. No drama, no bashing, just facts. Meanwhile, my job interview for the West Coast position came through. It went well, very well. Within days, they offered me the job. Higher pay, leadership role, and a fresh start in San Francisco. I accepted immediately. I wasn't just removing myself from Tessa's life, I was starting a new one entirely. Then, the professional fallout for Tessa began. Her freelance design business thrived on referrals. One of our mutual friends, Sarah, worked in tech and had sent many clients Tessa's way. Sarah reached out. "I need to know what's really going on. Tessa's saying this is all a temporary thing." I told her the truth. Sarah's response was telling. "That's not the kind of person I can recommend to clients anymore." By the end of that week, Tessa had lost 2 major clients. Not because I said anything bad about her, simply because word spreads and reliability matters. As for Tessa and Dylan, the cracks showed quickly. Through friends, I learned that their rekindled romance was rocky. Dylan hadn't changed. He was still flaky, still untrustworthy, still cheating. Tessa tried to salvage her image. She started posting cryptic, inspiring quotes about growth and finding oneself. So, I made my own post, a single, calm update. Accepted a new position in San Francisco. Excited for this next chapter. That was all. No subtext, no shade. Just my truth. The response was overwhelming. Friends and colleagues congratulated me. Some asked about Tessa. I kept it simple. She chose to explore other options. I chose to explore mine. That calm honesty dismantled any story she tried to tell. Then, the funniest thing happened. Dylan, of all people, posted a picture of himself and Tessa at a restaurant. The very restaurant where Tessa and I had our first date. It was almost comical how transparent she was trying to be. The post was deleted within hours, but the damage was done. Mutual friends saw it. Even Tessa's own sister reached out to me. "I'm so sorry. You deserve better." By now, Tessa's texts were becoming more desperate. "Why are you telling people about Dylan? You're ruining my reputation." I responded once, "You got what you wanted, time and space. How I spend mine is not your concern." Then, I stopped replying altogether. About 3 weeks after she left, she showed up at my office unannounced. She looked exhausted. Her usual confident air was gone. "Liam," she said, voice cracking. "I made a huge mistake," she tried to explain. Dylan was a disaster. She had been confused. She wanted to work things out. She'd go to therapy. She'd do whatever it took. I let her finish. Then I said, "The best thing you ever did was reveal who you really are before we got married." She tried to argue, to plead, but I was done. I'd spent too long being someone's safety net. When she realized I wasn't budging, she left. This time, for good. The closing date on the house drew near. The beer was thrilled. I packed up what I wanted, donated the rest. Noah helped me move the last boxes. "You really did it," he said. "You turned this around." I smiled. For the first time in weeks, I felt free, but there was still more to come. My new life in San Francisco was just beginning. The final chapter unfolded faster than I expected. With the house officially under contract and my San Francisco job finalized, the pieces were falling into place. But even as I packed my final boxes, I knew there was one last storm to weather. Tessa's reaction to losing control. True to form, she didn't stay silent for long. About a week after the house and under contract, I received an email from Tessa. She didn't even bother with small talk. "You can't just erase for years of memories. Our cloud storage has all our photos. Please don't delete it." What she didn't realize, I'd already downloaded every photo, wanted and shut down the shared account weeks ago. My reply was brief. "You're right, those years taught me exactly what I don't want in a partner. Thanks for the lesson." I thought that might be the end of it. But Tessa's narrative started collapsing everywhere. Her social media was a roller coaster. First came the sad, poetic quotes about loss and personal growth. Then the angry, passive-aggressive posts about people who fear commitment. Finally, desperate attempts to look happy photos with friends, captions about new beginnings. But the cracks were obvious. Even her friends noticed. Then came the professional fallout. Without me maintaining her website and hosting, her portfolio vanished from the web. She tried to spin it as a rebrand, but word spreads fast in the design community. Clients who once trusted her now questioned her reliability. One of her biggest clients even contacted me not to gossip, but to ask for recommendations. "We heard about the engagement ending. We need someone who can commit to long-term projects. Do you know any dependable designers?" I gladly referred them to a talented acquaintance. She landed the contract. Karma, I thought. Meanwhile, Dylan's true nature re-emerged in full force. Through mutual contacts, I learned that he had already started flirting with other women. Tessa tried to recreate our history with him, taking him to the same spots we had visited, but it was painfully obvious to everyone that it was a sad imitation. Then came the final blow. Dylan broke up with her. His reason, as he put it to a friend, If she can cheat emotionally on her fiancé, she can do it to anyone. The irony was poetic. Her carefully constructed backup plan had collapsed. She was alone. Tessa's sister, who had always been kind to me, reached out. "She's staying at our parents' place. She really thought you'd wait for her." Selling the house and moving away crushed that fantasy. I felt a strange sense of closure, not triumph, just clarity. The last piece of the puzzle was my move to San Francisco. The sale closed smoothly. I moved into a sleek apartment with a stunning view of the bay. I adopted a rescue dog, Zeus, a boisterous, a loyal companion. My new team at the West Coast office welcomed me warmly. I even started rock climbing again, something I hadn't made time for in years. For the first time in a long while, my life wasn't about managing someone else's chaos. It was about building something for myself. One evening, as I unpacked, I got a message request from Dylan. Yes, Dylan. His message was long and almost pitiful. "I never meant to cause problems between you and Tessa. She reached out to me months ago. She was already planning the break before she even told you. I think she just didn't want to admit she was unhappy." "I'm sorry." I didn't reply. What was there to say? He wasn't telling me anything I hadn't already figured out. But his confession confirmed what I had suspected all along. Tessa's confusion wasn't a spontaneous moment of weakness. It was a calculated, drawn-out betrayal. She had spent months laying the groundwork to leap up only if her backup plan worked out. When it didn't, she wanted to rewind the clock. As if I was some safety net she could leap back to when Plan B collapsed. But that safety net was gone. Even more satisfying was how organically the truth had unfolded. I hadn't smeared her name. I hadn't begged friends to take sides. I simply lived my truth while she unraveled herself. A few weeks later, I had a video call with my old friend group. They were catching me up on local gossip. Someone mentioned seeing Tessa at a coffee shop, explaining to a potential client why her portfolio site was down. "She forgot you were the one who set it up," my friend laughed. "She couldn't figure out how to restore it, not my problem anymore." Finally, the last communication came. Tessa sent one final email. It was long and emotional. "I know I messed up. I thought I needed to explore my options to be sure about us. But you moving away, selling the house, it made me realize how badly I miscalculated. I was scared. I thought you'd wait. Please, can we just talk?" I stared at the screen for a while. Once, those words would have shattered me, but not anymore. I replied with a single sentence. "You taught me not to settle for someone who treats me as a backup plan." That was it. No anger, no sadness, just the truth. Tessa didn't reply. I assumed she finally understood. Months passed. My new life flourished. I was invited to speak at a tech conference. I made new friends. I even started dating casually again, though I was taking my time. Most importantly, I had reclaimed parts of myself I didn't realize I had sacrificed: my independence, my confidence, my peace. For anyone going through something similar, remember this: when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Don't waste years waiting for them to change. Don't let yourself be someone's maybe. Sometimes, the best response isn't revenge, it's getting better. Moving forward, thriving. And that's exactly what I was doing. The chapter had